Now, while our physical locations are spread across the continent and potentially across the globe, we are here together now, the Knights of the Legion of Honor, for this time-honored tradition of leadership and brotherhood. We're using the blessings of technology to leverage our brotherhood and its leaders to do the important business of Sigma Nu Fraternity. On behalf of the High Council and the staff team of Sigma Nu, I thank you in advance for your commitment to and engagement in this time together. Use our technology platform to engage in discussion, connect with each other, and be intentional about rekindling existing relationships and building new friendships. After celebrating our 150th year as a fraternity in 2018 and 2019, we have recently lived through unique times. Yet we are a unique brotherhood, and we will continue to deliver unique results as we lead with vision and courage to further the mission of Sigma Nu Fraternity. We do have some business to conduct this evening, and you will receive the initial reports from a few committees and a special report from our outstanding parliamentarian, Dr. Tim Huerta. Please pay special attention to the guidance you will hear, as you will learn that you are the decision makers of this grand chapter. You will learn that I am a facilitator and that the High Council works for you. Be empowered and be accountable by that dynamic. I know you will wear well the mantle of responsibility to remain engaged in decisions we will make this week. Before proceeding further, it is my duty and my privilege as Sigma Nu Fraternity's Regent and Chairman of the State of the Fraternity Committee to submit to you this evening the State of the Fraternity Report on behalf of the High Council, which constitutes our State of the Fraternity Committee. The purpose of this report is to provide the Grand Chapter a summary of our current state of affairs and our accomplishments since the 68th Grand Chapter in 2018. This information will inform your work over the next 3 days. 3 years ago, after being sworn in as your Regent, I stood before the Grand Chapter and our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., and I asked every living brother to rededicate himself to the great principles of the Legion of Honor, to honor, to love, and to truth. On the brink of our 150th anniversary, I asked each brother to return to the rock of Sigma Nu, metaphorically to return to the enduring and immutable principles of love, honor, and truth. 3 years ago, I stated that the need for our mission and principles, the need for love, the need for honor, and the need for truth and courageous ethical leadership, the need for lifelong friendships, had never been greater since the time of our fraternity's founding. I believed then, and I believe so even more firmly now, that the world is sorely in need of what our fraternity uniquely provides. Love is the antidote to hate and polarization. Honor is the foundation for respect of human dignity, and truth is the rock upon which all human progress is built. Brothers, as you know, these last 3 years have been anything but easy. The challenges we have faced have few comparisons in our history. And yet I am honored to say that we, the Knights of the Legion of Honor, met these challenges head on. And please listen to me carefully. Because of our collective work together, and as a result of your leadership, the state of our fraternity is as strong as it ever has been. I've organized my State of the Fraternity report in 2 segments. First, I will speak to our progress over the last 3 years toward our strategic imperatives, including the celebration of our 150th anniversary. Second, I will speak to our response to the global pandemic these last 15 months. In doing so, I will convey to you the state of our fraternity. I and the rest of your High Council were elected and appointed during the previous Grand Chapter for one purpose and one purpose only. It is the only purpose that matters in Sigma Nu: to protect, strengthen, and advance toward our fraternity's honorable mission to develop ethical leaders inspired by the principles of love, honor, and truth, to foster the personal growth of each man's mind, heart, and character, to perpetuate lifelong friendships and commitment to the fraternity, and to do so by excelling with honor. This is the reason Sigma Nu Fraternity exists, and this is the reason Sigma Nu Fraternity remains not only relevant, but needed today. Our society needs our mission. Our society needs Sigma Nu Fraternity. Our society needs Sigma Nu's example. Sigma Nu is needed, and Sigma Nu must continue to thrive. The fraternity's strategic plan is designed by the High Council to serve as our roadmap to accomplish our mission. The plan is updated by each new High Council and guides every portion of the fraternity's work. Each year, our progress is measured against the plan, with adjustments being made as needed. The plan is presently composed of 4 strategic imperatives. Our strategic imperatives clearly state conditions that must exist if we are to accomplish our mission. For each imperative, the Council identifies a series of strategic goals. Our Executive Director is then charged to deploy the fraternity's resources to achieve these goals. This is all done on behalf of you, the Grand Chapter. These are not mere words on paper. This strategic plan represents our roadmap, our responsibility, and in hindsight, our scorecard. Our highest priority imperative was and remains chapter strength. We do not seek chapter strength for its own sake. Simply put, we know that a chapter strong in all areas of operation is the very best environment for delivery of our mission. Our Pursuit of Excellence program not only measures chapter performance against our standards of excellence, but incentivizes constant improvement. A strong chapter is backed by caring and engaged alumni advisors and is capable of recruiting, engaging, and retaining the very best our campuses have to offer. Our second imperative is excellence through education. Excellent chapters are always smart chapters that teach their members the way of honor and give back to their local community. Our award-winning education and development programs ensure our brothers receive the critical, outside the classroom education they need to succeed during and after college. Our excellence through education imperative also includes vital health and safety resources, including mental health education and accountability for misconduct. Excellence through education is the heart of our mission. Our third imperative is alumni commitment. The Sigma Nu Brotherhood is not only for the college years. As my late father and our brother George Hearn, Mu 1048, said often, brotherhood is for life. Indeed, the Sigma Nu Brotherhood is a lifetime commitment. Our aim is to provide opportunities for involvement and engagement over the course of each brother's life that enhance the value of lifetime membership and increase the commitment level of every brother. Our work here also ensures the next generation of alumni leaders is prepared and capable of leading our fraternity in the future. Our fourth imperative is reputation. Reputation is primarily about engaging in our communities as ethical leaders at every level, including on our campuses and within the interfraternal community. Reputation is also about identifying and responding to threats that challenge our mission. To illustrate the progress we have made toward our imperatives over the last 3 years and to confirm for you the state of our fraternity is strong, I want to share some truth some facts and numbers with you. For our chapter strength imperative, in the first 2 years of the biennium, 99% of our chapters received 2 leadership consultation visits from our outstanding staff team. In the last year, 99% received 5 virtual consultation visits. During these visits, our consultants met with chapter officers and members to share best practices and recommendations for improvement toward excellence. They also conduct educational programs. Over the last 3 years, 13,056 officer consultations were completed and 1,195 educational programs facilitated. On a scale of 4.0, our chapters rated these consultations a 3.75 in overall effectiveness. Over the triennium, we conducted 30 regional Sigma Nu Institutes for collegiate chapter officers to learn from one another, from outstanding alumni volunteers and our staff team. More than 1,700 collegiate chapter officers benefited from the institutes, giving them an overall effectiveness rating of 3.7 on a 4.0 scale. We conducted our exceptional preparation program for chapter commanders, the College of Chapters, each year for the last 3 years. More than 90% of chapters attended the College of Chapters and rated the program a 4.7 on a 5.0 scale. We also set new records over the triennium for the number of chapters receiving Pursuit of Excellence Performance Awards, and in 2020, we set a new record for the number of ROC chapters, the highest performance award a collegiate chapter can receive. 24 chapters earned this distinction in 2020. Standing behind this outstanding collegiate performance are dedicated alumni advisory boards. As of this year, 90% of collegiate chapters have an engaged advisory board, and 95% of those are functioning at an optimal level. Overall, more than 2,000 volunteers serve our collegiate chapters as advisors and house corporation leaders on a daily basis. Over the triennium, we established or reestablished 7 new collegiate chapters and chartered or rechartered 9 new collegiate chapters. As college enrollment declined and fraternity membership receded from recent record highs, more than 80% of our collegiate chapters had manpower above the average for their campus or increased their manpower for an average chapter size of 65. Sigma Nu is needed, and Sigma Nu must continue to thrive. For our excellence through education imperative, 99% of our collegiate chapters implemented our award-winning LEAD program, with experiential curriculum dedicated to providing our brothers the skills and knowledge they need to become ethical leaders. Our brothers also continued to excel in the classroom, with our fraternity grade point average again exceeding 3.0, a benchmark we first reached in the 2016 biennium. Our overall health and safety education and prevention programs, which are extensive and date back more than 30 years, were recently recognized this triennium by EverFi, a leading provider of public health programs, with their inaugural Impact Award. Our programs received EverFi's excellence rating in all categories, a distinction achieved by only 10% of institutions, including colleges and universities evaluated by EverFi. More than 90% of our collegiate members have successfully completed our leading education and prevention program, Greek Life EDU. Our innovative health and safety poster program, done in partnership with other leading men's and women's Greek organizations, received the Laurel Wreath Award from the North American Interfraternity Conference for innovation and effectiveness. We continued our comprehensive anti-hazing campaign, including leadership in hazing prevention organizations such as hazingprevention.org and the Interdisciplinary Institute for Hazing Prevention. We maintained our participation and sponsorship of National Hazing Prevention Week each year. And we significantly increased our programs in support of mental health with continuation of our Behind Happy Faces program. As part of our response to the pandemic, we launched a new mental health weekly check-in video series. We are and we will continue leading in the important area of mental health. We launched the Dignity U video education project focused on the fundamental importance of human dignity in all harm prevention efforts. In 2020, we led an interfraternal group to make the Dignity U keynote by Sigma Nu brother Mike Dilbeck available to all interfraternity council leaders and all collegiate members across the continent. And our Diversity and Inclusion Task Force diligently completed its charge and will report back to you tomorrow on their important findings and recommendations. We launched 4 new workshops focused on prevention of prescription drug abuse in partnership with Generation RX. And we continued implementation of our award-winning Social Strengths and Bystander Strengths workshops focused on healthy relationships and sexual assault prevention. We continued our Helping Hand initiative, with 2022 being the 17th consecutive year of this program that supports community service and philanthropy. In the last 3 years, our collegiate chapters reported raising more than $3 million and donating more than 360,000 hours for charitable purposes. I'm especially pleased to announce that our chapters eclipsed a significant milestone last year. Since inception of the Helping Hand initiative, our chapters have now raised more than $10 million for charitable purposes, with a new total of more than $11 million. We continued our progress to improve preservation of our archives and artifacts and brought our history to thousands of brothers across the continent as part of the celebration of our 150th anniversary. Sigma Nu is needed, and Sigma Nu must continue to thrive. For our alumni commitment imperative, as we seek to achieve higher levels of alumni engagement and commitment, and as we seek to increase the value of lifetime membership, we completed the building of an entire new framework that allows us to measure the actual level of engagement of our alumni. We then conducted a survey of all alumni to measure the perceived value of lifetime membership and gather direct input from our more than 150,000 living alumni. Based on these results and within our new alumni framework, we established our alumni commitment metrics, which are connection, pride, benefit, and responsibility. Future survey results will measure our progress against these metrics. We also established our operational priorities, which are consistent and widespread communication to all alumni, increased data screening and acquisition, alumni chapter and club development, and regional events. Our work on these priorities has begun, though we had to delay regional events due to the pandemic. We launched our new monthly newsletter, The Gavel, which contains timely news and information for all brothers. More recently, we launched our new Gavel podcast to augment the newsletter. And we continued publication of our award-winning Delta magazine, though production was reduced during the pandemic out of fiscal prudence. We launched an exciting new webinar series, offering multiple opportunities for brothers to gather for professional development or just for engagement and fun. And we continued our transitions campaign focused on keeping our recent graduates connected with the fraternity. Perhaps the greatest opportunity for alumni engagement in decades was the almost year-long celebration of the 150th anniversary of the Legion of Honor. It was my great honor to serve as Regent during this very special time. Beginning in July 2018 in our nation's capital and over the ensuing 11 months, more than 2,500 of our brothers gathered to celebrate this awesome milestone. From Seattle to Atlanta, from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, from Dallas to Indianapolis, from Houston to Birmingham, from Oklahoma City to Anaheim, from Fresno to St. Louis and in Lexington, Virginia, our brothers came together to celebrate our history, our traditions, and our heroes. For each event, 13 in all, a curated number of priceless fraternity artifacts was carefully transported for display and the enjoyment of all attendees. An outstanding new history video was produced and shown at each gathering, with limited edition anniversary coins provided to each attendee. In Lexington, we rang in the 2019 New Year at Virginia Military Institute, only yards from the spot on the parade ground where our founders met to establish the Legion of Honor. A key memory from my regency will always remain standing on the VMI parade ground with a group of brothers at midnight, January 1st, 2019, to recite the Creed of Sigma Nu in honor of our 150th anniversary and on behalf of our entire brotherhood. Also in Lexington, we dedicated a new anniversary portion of the Brick Pathway of Honor. And in May 2019, thanks to the generosity of Brother J. Harry Shannon of our Theta chapter at Alabama and hundreds of other brothers and friends, we commemorated the War Memorial addition to the Marchman Flag Pavilion. The War Memorial serves to honor the more than 621 Sigma Nu brothers who have sacrificed their lives for our freedom. To have the opportunity to be present at most of these singular events and to meet and talk with our brothers from all four corners was immensely gratifying to me as your regent. To be present on that warm spring evening in Houston, Texas in April of 2019 when Brother Jerry Fields of Texas State was inspired to announce an additional $1 million gift to Sigma Nu Educational Foundation was simply incredible. Of most importance, the celebration of our 150th anniversary was an opportunity for all of us to pause for a moment and remember the critical importance of our mission, our creed, and our principles. Sigma Nu Fraternity has the power to improve people's lives and our society at large. I ask this: what better purpose can there be? Certainly, the power of our mission and creed was palpable and was on full display during our anniversary celebration. Indeed, Sigma Nu is needed and Sigma Nu Fraternity must continue to thrive. And for our reputation imperative, as you know, our fraternity has a long history of leadership in the interfraternal and higher education communities. We recognize that a successful interfraternal community is good for our mission. A rising tide lifts all boats, if you will. And we have always sought to foster a strong partnership with our colleges and universities. We have continued this tradition of leadership over the past 3 years with members of our staff team or key alumni volunteers serving in leadership positions in 10 distinct interfraternal organizations. We have continued our involvement in leadership in the North American Interfraternity Conference, the trade association for men's fraternities, including initiatives to provide higher levels of support and education to local interfraternity councils, on which many of our collegiate brothers proudly serve as officers. Also, through our leadership in the NIC, we seek the open and free growth of the fraternity community across the continent. We have maintained a high level of leadership on matters of public policy and legislative affairs at the federal and state level, including efforts to protect due process and freedom of association for college students, and to enact anti-hazing legislation and legislation that would increase our ability to raise funds for chapter house improvements of collegiate housing, and to overturn onerous local zoning ordinances. As many of you know, we were heavily involved in supporting the litigation against Harvard University that successfully overturned Harvard's stunning policy to punish its own students for belonging to private single-sex membership organizations, including fraternities and sororities. In this same vein, today, we are co-leading the defense of multiple men's fraternities against a lawsuit brought by Yale students seeking to force co-ed membership on men's and women's fraternities. In the last year alone, our staff team has provided direct support on 50 separate campuses in response to incidences of system-wide suspensions, deferred or prohibited recruitment of new members, unwarranted activity restrictions, and anti-fraternity activism. We completed a brand refresh and, as I previously mentioned, launched an outstanding new communication platform with the monthly Gavel newsletter and podcast. As I also mentioned, our Diversity and Inclusion Task Force conducted its work in 2020 and 2021 and will provide its report to the Grand Chapter tomorrow. These accomplishments are tremendous, and a credit to every brother who contributed to them and to every prior Grand Chapter that has recognized the importance of maintaining our position of leadership. Frankly, we can do more. We always can do more. Our Greek community must rise together, and we must maintain our position of interfraternal leadership. Sigma Nu fraternity is needed, and Sigma Nu fraternity must thrive. Our society needs Sigma Nu fraternity. You will certainly appreciate knowing from our finance committee later in the Grand Chapter that all of this was done while improving our financial strength and performing better than budgeted for each year of the triennium. This is a testament to the stewardship of every collegiate chapter, every collegiate member, every advisor, every house corporation, our staff team, and our board of directors. Candidly, our financial strength results from years of visionary leadership delivered by prior high councils on whose shoulders we currently stand. And due to the discipline and leadership of our collegiate chapter leaders and advisors today, you gentlemen get a lot of credit as well. And as will be reported tomorrow, the progress made by our fraternity the last 3 years was matched by the outstanding success of the Sigma Nu Educational Foundation. We are grateful for the Foundation's steadfast support of the fraternity's educational and scholastic programs, as well as the care and maintenance of our remarkable headquarters here in Lexington, Virginia. A key component of the Foundation's success was the culmination of years of discussion and planning by and between the Foundation Board of Directors and the fraternity's High Council to reinstitute a single Chief Executive Officer model for both entities. Under this model, our Executive Director, Brad Beecham, became the president of the Educational Foundation in February of 2019. And though our organizations must remain separate entities for legal reasons, the single CEO model improves efficiency and coordination of the work of both. As you well know, as we were in the midst of making all this progress, in March of 2020, our entire world was upended with the onset of the global pandemic caused by COVID-19. Though we are not on the other side of this yet, of this historic crisis, we are able now to benefit from some perspective. Many superlatives have been used to describe this seismic event, and for once, they don't seem like an exaggeration. We have each experienced this extraordinary time in our own individual, very personal ways. Many of us have lost loved ones, or we have loved ones who lost jobs or had their lives disrupted in other ways. The toll is truly incalculable, and our society will be measuring it for the remainder of our lives. Yet each of us also experience this extraordinary time with others, with our local community, with our college or university, and yes, with Sigma Nu Fraternity and its brothers. It is no exaggeration to say that our response, the response by our entire fraternity, represents the single greatest operational shift our fraternity has made since World War II, when our brothers of that day left campus to enlist in droves to defend our freedoms, our heroes. Practically overnight, more recently, all normal operations were shuttered and then rendered impossible or restricted for more than 12 months. We literally had to reinvent fraternity in the face of a global pandemic. And when I say we, I'm talking about everybody listening to my voice now. Here are just a few of the questions we had to address. How do we have chapter meetings virtually? How do we recruit someone to our fraternity over video? If we recruit him, how do we educate and prepare him to become a Sigma Nu? Over video. How do we initiate him as a Sigma Nu brother over video? How do we implement the LEAD program over video? How do we do philanthropy and community service in a virtual world? How do we create connections and bonding in a virtual world? How do we manage the chapter treasury when we are not on campus? How do we support brothers who have lost their job or financial assistance from their family? How do we help keep our campuses safe? How do we pay the mortgage and the taxes and the insurance with 50% fewer residents in our chapter house? How do we support our brothers scholastically when we are not on campus? How do we support our brothers' mental health during this incredibly challenging time? Can we have 5 people in the chapter room at the same time? Or is it 7? Or is it 9? How do we do chapter consultations on video? How do we train our staff team on video? How do we conduct the College of Chapters virtually? And how do we deliver the Sigma Nu Institutes virtually? And I could go on and on and on. The questions and the challenges were practically endless. You all could surely add a few. But here were the men of Sigma Nu. Through the challenges of the pandemic, I was reminded of what I already knew. Sigma Nu Fraternity is needed, and Sigma Nu Fraternity must continue to thrive. After establishing our pandemic principles of health and safety, continuity of the fraternity, and enhanced communications, we all went to work to not only determine the answer to these questions and more, but to determine how we would continue excelling with honor in the face of a global pandemic. And brothers, while the pandemic has taken its toll on all of us and our institutions, the Legion of Honor rose to the occasion. Our chapter officers and members rose to the occasion. Our alumni volunteers rose to the occasion. Our entire staff team rose to the occasion. Our donors rose to the occasion. Our board of directors rose to the occasion. You, every single one of you, rose to the occasion. And why? Why did any single one of us do so? Why did we rise to the occasion? Because we believe in the power of fraternity, and we know the impact Sigma Nu Fraternity can have and has had on our lives in good times and especially during the hardest times. Because we believe in the creed of Sigma Nu Fraternity, because we believe in love, honor, and truth, because we are the Knights of the Legion of Honor, and because we know the mission of our fraternity must be accomplished whatever the challenge that stands in our way. As we plowed ahead and made the pivots required during times of challenge and controversy, we secured motivation from our mission, our legacy, and our legacy makers. To that end, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the loss of several of Sigma Nu's mighty oaks over the course of the triennium. At the risk of excluding others, we mourn the loss of our beloved grand historian, Bob McCulley. His fellow Hall of Honor members, Carl Berry, Dick Dotteridge, and Colonel Paul Murphy. We lament the passing of Linda Fields, an ardent supporter of Sigma Nu and the Greek community. Margaret Davis, a legendary supporter of Sigma Nu's headquarters campus in Lexington and among our greatest donors. And Miss Yvonne C. Fox, who devoted her entire career of more than 50 years to our staff team. These and our loved and lost will be properly memorialized during the Chapter Eternal program later in the Grand Chapter. The lives of these Sigma Nu brothers and exceptional friends remind us that Sigma Nu is needed and Sigma Nu Fraternity must continue to thrive. And so, brothers and friends, I conclude where I began. The state of our fraternity is strong, as you can well see. Not only have we returned to the rock, we have affirmed and are accomplishing our honorable mission. We are believing in the life of love, walking in the way of honor, and serving in the light of truth. And as we look to the future, the mantle of leadership now falls to you, the 69th Grand Chapter of Sigma Nu Fraternity. Let us acknowledge the outstanding work done over the course of this exceptional time, which has put us in a position of fortified strength. I have every confidence that you will rise to the occasion as you exercise your leadership and prudence in the coming days to ensure the continued success of the Legion of Honor. Sigma Nu is needed, and Sigma Nu must continue to thrive. And with our collective resolve, Sigma Nu will continue to thrive, and Sigma Nu will continue to set the example. I want to also thank the High Council for your enormous support of me, the mission of Sigma Nu, the support of the staff team, and the excellent strategic plan that you put forth for us to pursue as an organization. I want to thank the alumni volunteers out there who hear my voice. I served in your shoes, and I know the importance of the role that you play. Please know how grateful we are for the difference you make at your local chapter level. I want to thank the foundation. You all have lifted heavy over the last 3 years, and we are grateful to see the progress being made and the firm foundation that has built for our foundation. I want to thank the executive director and staff. We have said often as a High Council that we have the best staff team in the fraternity industry. And after 3 years of serving as your regent, I remain more convinced than ever that that is the truth. And lastly, I want to thank the collegiate brothers, you guys listening to my voice, who took up the charge and have worked hard to do your part. As the 66th Regent of Sigma Nu Fraternity, it has been a privilege to serve you, and I look forward to continuing to work alongside you for a successful Grand Chapter. Thank you very much, and thank you for what you mean and do for Sigma Nu Fraternity.